Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, December 22nd. A very interesting weather pattern setting up for the Mid-Atlantic region for the next couple of weeks. We'll have a mild day on Saturday with some rainfall, but then a cold front will pass through tomorrow night, Saturday night, usher in a colder air mass for Sunday and Monday, and actually usher in a colder pattern that will stick around for the next couple of weeks. The last week of December and certainly the first week of January, on average, will definitely be colder than normal in the Mid-Atlantic region and throughout much of the east and central part of the U.S. Low pressure should form along the Mid-Atlantic coastline late in the day on Sunday, and it very well could throw some snow into the Mid-Atlantic region Sunday night into early Christmas morning, which of course is on Monday. Looks like primarily north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Can be some snow down across the D.C. metro region late Sunday night into early Monday. That passes by to the north and east later in the day on Monday, and it'll turn breezy and quite cold for Monday afternoon. Stays cold on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then there's a big snow threat for the end of next week, somewhere around the Friday time frame, December 29th, potential for a major snowstorm in the Mid-Atlantic region, and that very well could be followed by some brutally cold air for that last weekend of 2017 going right into the new year. Let's start off by first focusing on the Christmas Eve threat for low pressure cyclogenesis. We talked about yesterday some of the factors that you look for as a weather forecaster to determine if a storm can indeed develop, specifically a boundary zone and also upward motion. This is the 250 millibar wind forecast for Sunday morning, Christmas Eve morning, December 24th, and indeed there is a jet streak, a very impressive jet streak, forecasted by last night's GFS model run to be right over the Mid-Atlantic region. And we talked yesterday in yesterday's video about there being upward motion in different quadrants surrounding a jet streak. In this particular case, right in this region here, that will translate along and will move forward in time during the day on Sunday and Sunday night. Notice that low pressure will suddenly form along the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Again, this does not look like a major snow event by any means, but the timing couldn't be better really for a touch of snow in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region for later Sunday night into early Monday morning. Let's now move ahead in 6-hour increments here, and there's that jet streak pushing off the to the New England coastline by midday on Sunday. And then it still remains there, a very impressive jet streak at 250 millibars. Again, this is from last night's GFS model run. And there's low pressure starting to form right in that quadrant where there's upward motion on the right entrance region of the jet streak. And that is the low pressure area that will throw some moisture back into cold air. Certainly can be rain at the onset Sunday night in the I-95 corridor, but it's likely to change over to snow before Christmas morning. And here we go. There it is, that low pressure area as of about midnight or so, shortly after midnight, going into early Monday morning. Very impressive jet streak here, and finally another 6-hour run. That starts to pull away, and indeed any early clouds or possible lingering snow showers in the I-95 corridor early Monday morning will give way to sunshine. It'll be breezy and cold for the afternoon on Christmas Monday. Well, let's now take a look at the 500 millibar pattern here as depicted by the 6Z GFS model run. We'll go forward in 6-hour increments for the next several days. And these vorticity maxima represent areas of spin in the upper part of the atmosphere, basically associated with those jet streaks we just talked about. And here we are at the beginning of this time frame, early today, Friday morning, and out here in the Pacific Northwest. That is the area of interest in terms of the Sunday night potential for a touch of snow in the Mid-Atlantic region. This very impressive upper level energy will produce the rainfall in the I-95 corridor during the day on Saturday. Let's keep moving forward here, and here we go. By Saturday morning, there's that wave of energy headed into the eastern part of the nation, and again we'll have a rainy day, not necessarily an all-day rain event on Saturday, but periods of rain, mild, perhaps 55 in Philly, 60 degrees in D.C., ahead of an approaching cold frontal system. And here's that wave of energy that will help to set off a storm near the mid-Atlantic coastline late in the day on Sunday and Sunday night. Let's keep moving forward here. By Sunday morning, here's that wave of energy swinging around the base of a trough, an upper level low situated over south central Canada at this time. This is Sunday morning, Christmas Eve morning here, and here's that wave of energy starting to take on a negatively tilted axis extending from the upper level low in south central Canada to the base of the trough in this case. In other words, that orientation is from northwest to southeast, and that kind of orientation, what we call a negatively tilt to the upper level trough, produces even stronger upward motion than a positively tilted trough. So indeed, we have a negatively tilted trough here by about midnight or so early Monday morning, and here's that vorticity max or wave of energy at 500 millibars, again associated with that jet streak we saw at 250 millibars way up in the atmosphere come early Monday morning. Low pressure at this time right in the area of upward motion should be intensifying right around this region off the mid-Atlantic coastline, throwing enough moisture back into the cold air for some snow, again primarily for Pennsylvania, Maryland border north, but certainly can be a touch of snow south of there, but maybe a dusting to an inch or so, Philadelphia, New York City, and going north and east from there. That pulls away later in the day, later in the morning on Christmas, becomes a mostly sunny afternoon, breezy, cold Christmas. And let's keep now moving forward here, and we'll take a sneak peek at the potential for late next week. In a moment, we'll look at the surface maps here, but we're moving forward with 6-hour increments, and this is all these maps available from tropicaltidbits.com. Again, this is from last night's 6E GFS model run. Here is the wave of energy come Thursday night of next week. Again, we're talking about a week away, but notice how far south that particular wave of energy goes. By Friday night, here we go again, upper level low, a little farther south this time, right centered in this region. Again, a negatively tilted axis here, and this is headed right towards the mid-Atlantic region, certainly promoting upward motion here. And here we go by early Saturday morning, a week away, we have a very impressive upper level pattern, and we'll see in a moment here, very cold air will be in place when this upper level motion, upward motion reaches the mid-Atlantic region at the end of next week. And let's just keep moving forward here, and here we go by the weekend, about next Saturday night or so. Lots of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. So again, potential exists for a big snow event at the end of next week, and that could be followed by some brutally cold air. Let's take a look now at the surface forecast maps. Well, here we go. Let's walk through the GFS surface forecast maps for the upcoming week or so. Again, a mild pattern here on Saturday. Here we go by Saturday morning. Low pressure forms along that boundary zone with that cold frontal system pressing in towards the mid-Atlantic region. Periods of rain on Saturday. Mild, 55 in Philly, 60 in D.C., maybe 50, 51 or so in New York City. Not necessarily an all-day rain event. Periods of rain. Let's keep moving forward here by tomorrow night, Saturday night. Showers wind down in the evening. After midnight tomorrow night, becomes partly cloudy, breezy, turns colder again, and colder air filters into the area on Sunday. It is certainly not by any means going to be a blast of cold air. We'll probably have highs in the low 40s on Sunday, Christmas Eve day, with some partial sunshine. But then here's already the beginnings of that jet streak induced snowfall out here over the central plains come early Sunday morning. And that is the area that may expand a little bit in terms of snowfall in the Ohio Valley. Again, a dry day here in the I-95 corridor on Sunday, but then that jet streak approaches the mid-Atlantic coastline, already a boundary zone set up here from that frontal passage, which stalls out along the coast. Low pressure starts to form. This is by Sunday evening here, and by late Sunday night, snow back into the I-95 corridor. Again, there can be rain at the onset here, changing over to snow. Colder air still filtering in. Low pressure intensifying along the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Again, supported by that powerful jet streak in the upper part of the atmosphere. Even some snow depicted here south of the Mason-Dixon line. But again, the biggest threat for a touch of snow will be north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. And then by early Monday morning, this is Christmas morning, breeze is picking up as that low pressure actually intensifies. A very powerful jet streak supporting the development and intensification of this low pressure system by the New England coastline come early Monday morning. Any snow will be over in the D.C. metro region. Still some lingering snow showers possible. Let's say Philadelphia, New York City, early Monday morning. That pulls away. Just a breezy and cold, probably a sunny afternoon on Christmas Monday in the Mid-Atlantic region. Temperatures primarily in the 30s during the afternoon. Maybe a little bit of snow cover, especially north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Then let's keep moving forward here, because the threat for next week, the end of next week, is to me really impressive. Still a week away, but first ingredient here, this is Tuesday morning. A very strong Arctic high pressure system will drop into the center part of the nation. If you've been following VencoreWeather.com for years, you know that high pressure, I always talk about being a crucial requirement for snowstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region, and indeed looks like we'll have a beautiful setup at the end of next week here. Let's keep moving forward here. Now we are into the middle part of next week. Notice this high starting to slide to our north towards the southeastern part of Canada. Cold air in place here, some moisture starting to form here, show up in the Gulf of Mexico region. This is the middle of next week, Wednesday morning here. Let's keep moving forward here. And here we go. High pressure to the north by Thursday morning. This is now Thursday of next week. This is an anchor for a very cold air mass setting up to the north here. I often talk about a banana-shaped high. We'll see in a moment here. That basically will form here. A beautiful setup for snow in the big cities of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Is strong high pressure anchoring that cold air in place. Strong high pressure to the north and northwest. And here we have some kinkiness showing up, some bending in the isobar pattern here as of Thursday morning. That's what indicative of what we call a cold air damming. Cold air slides down east of the Appalachians and really gets stuck in place here as long as strong high pressure is situated to the north. Let's keep moving ahead in 6-hour increments. Here we go by a Friday morning. Strong high pressure still situated not only over southeastern Canada, but also over the south central part of Canada. Kind of a banana-shaped high pressure system setting up here to the north and northwest. Moisture advancing northeast out of the Gulf of Mexico right towards this cold air mass. Again, this is a week away, so things can change here, but this is just a beautiful setup for a significant snow event. Now, one thing we don't have right now is snow cover. We may have a touch of snow cover by Monday morning, but snow cover will add to the possibility of some brutally cold temperatures, and indeed, the potential exists for a snowstorm at the end of next week. And with that snow cover, and here we go by Friday night of next week, still notice a strong high pressure to the north. Brutally cold air looks like it'll follow this particular storm first into the central part of the nation. Some of these thicknesses are incredible here. If I take a look at 492, 486, 480 thickness here, again depicted a week away. This is still somewhat speculative phase here, but 480 thickness is brutally cold air for the end of next week, weekend time frame, right before New Year's. And my point is, if you put down snow cover here and then follow with that kind of a cold air mass, you're looking for brutal cold, not only in the northern plains and the upper Midwest, but in the Mid-Atlantic region as well. Very strong, intensifying storm here. And by the way, the European model tends to support this general notion of a strong storm system at the end of next week, and then just brutally cold air pouring in first into the upper Midwest, then into the south central U.S. Thickness is very, very impressively low for any time of the year, but add this potential deep snow cover here in the Mid-Atlantic region, then follow up with that kind of a cold air mass, and we could be talking about brutal cold next week and following a potential snowstorm Friday, early Saturday time frame, still a week away, but wild weather patterns setting up for the next couple of weeks. This forecast map, let's go all the way out to Sunday morning, the last day of 2017, just vicious winds here, potential deep snow cover at this time, and brutally cold air. Still a tremendous high pressure situated over south central Canada, which tells me that cold air is going to stick around for a while. So we have a couple of snow threats, one coming Sunday night and an early Monday morning. Not a major threat, but it certainly can throw some snow, especially north of the Mason-Dixon line, later Sunday night into early Monday. A cold week, and then a big snow threat comes at the end of next week, and that could be followed by some brutally cold air for the eastern half of the nation as we head into the day before New Year's and into the early part of January. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.